Hi there, everybody. Welcome to EW Sessions. I'm Stuart Wood. I'm joined by Mariska Kesteloo, former president of MPI Belgium and the founder of Word of Mice. Mariska, how are you doing today?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Nice to speak to you. Can you give us a bit of an introduction about Word of Mice and what it is that you do with Word of Mice?
Yes, of course. Word of Mice, so we create B2B influencer marketing campaigns for the meetings and events industry. So our clients are typically convention bureaus, hotel chains, technology platforms, say all kinds of suppliers who are looking to spread their story and to remain in touch with their target audience, and especially, of course, in these challenging times.
And do you think that the role of influencers has changed throughout the pandemic in the last year? I'd imagine that it's quite a different landscape to how it was a year and a half ago.
Of course, I think a lot of people still don't know the difference between B2B influencer marketing and B2C influencer marketing. And I think a lot of people see a lot of news coming by, and then they said, "Hey, I see an article which is probably something for you." And just to highlight the difference, in B2C influencer marketing, it's more about transactional relationships. So that you ask someone because they have a lot of followers to post something about a t-shirt or a product. That's B2C because you influence directly the consumers. We work B2B, so we select people based on their experience, based on the quality of their followers, based on their working experience, their knowledge. For example, if they had a role within MPI or within Side, or they're doing speaking opportunities at events. So this is a totally different approach. And yes, of course, also in our industry, I see there is also, I'm not saying there's a shift going on, but I think people are much more, clients are much more selective with who they want to work. And I think because they want to have really trustworthy, because it's all about trust, that you create a relationship. So I think, clients are more selective if their people are real, trustworthy, if they really build up that experience. And also if they're really, value driven, if they really believe in the company that they're working with.
And how do you kind of go about finding that right connection? How do you kind of match people up with the correct people?
Yeah, sometimes I say more like a dating agency than because that's how it works. It's all about trust. So why do you fall in love with certain people? Well, you have to have certain requirements. So we first look into the strategy of the clients, and based on on the profile that we create and the buyer persona, we check in our community and beyond to find that right person who has the criteria. And then we propose a couple of candidates, and then it's up to the client to decide with who they want to work. So yeah, so like a B2B dating agency, I guess, because then people perhaps understand better what I do.
And do you think that influencer marketing can play a key role in bringing business back once we start returning from the pandemic? I think we're kind of moving into that phase now where things are starting to return.
Yes, well, I think what the most important thing is that companies who remained in touch and who were visible with their clients, those are the ones who are going to win. Because I see also a lot of companies and suppliers in general who find it very difficult to post or to write anything because they were in a difficult position or they didn't find anything positive to write about. And you cannot expect, I say it's the same like a marriage. If we were a couple and we would have a discussion, we have disagreement, and we need to discuss, we need to talk about it. So in moments where there is a crisis, you need to communicate even more than ever before, because you want to maintain that relationship. So suppliers who said, okay, we haven't done nothing on communication or haven't been visible, and suddenly expect that those clients are coming back. Yeah, that's not how it works. So the people who continue, if that is with influencer marketing or digital marketing or any other way, they have been communicating with their audience, maintaining in touch, those are the ones who will win and who will get the clients, and hopefully also can build up again a successful business.
Definitely. I think that's a really interesting point. And I wonder as well, maybe do you think some people almost take for granted that when they come back, everyone's still going to be waiting for them? But then if you haven't had that visibility throughout this pandemic, then it's such a long stretch of time now that maybe it's not quite the case.
Yes, of course, and also you must not forget that also the needs, the challenges of your clients has changed, and perhaps your product was what was a perfect fit for a certain type of clients. Perhaps it's not a perfect fit now anymore. So many things has changed, and we're not going back to the to normal or to the old normal or how you may call it. So it is important to remain in touch. What are their needs? What are their challenges? Do your products still fit to their current challenges or their future challenges? So I think there's a lot of things that go on. Or despite that, of course, we want to see each other again, and we want to have, like, of course, normal events, and want to see each other face to face. I think there will also remain a huge online component, and of course, you need to know what your client needs.
I'm curious to hear as well what you think about any or which kind of social media platforms are best suited to B2B influencer marketing. I'd imagine LinkedIn is quite a strong one. But are there any new ones? I've seen Clubhouse talked about. I haven't used it myself. Do you think there's any new platforms that could come in that could be a key tool?
Well, first of all, yes, LinkedIn is indeed the right platform for B2B influencer marketing campaigns, because it has the most options, and there's still features are added, like articles, blog posts, video, LinkedIn Live. You can even host events. So it's one of the most complete platforms that you can use, where you can also spread your expertise and where you can do business. Clubhouse, it's really interesting. I'm just curious how it will develop. So a lot of people jump on it very enthusiastically, and then after a month they are tired, because you still can't see each other, which is a huge advantage, but also, of course, a disadvantage to connect and to engage with other participants. I'm looking at the sideline, and yes, I have clients who request also for doing events on Clubhouse. Just curious how it will evolve, and perhaps other platforms, of course, will pop up or will disappear. But let's wait and see what happens in the next 6 months.
Definitely. And speaking of the next 6 months, I know normally you'd be out and about giving talks at conferences and events. Have you got any plans? Are you attending any events? Are you speaking at any events in the next 6 months, next year or so?
Yeah, well, I have online events, but to be honest, I have no real face-to-face confirmed event or speaking opportunity, which is, of course, a huge miss and a huge lack in my agenda. Of course, I do hope the first event that I do hope that it will continue is IBTM World in Barcelona at the end of this year. Because if that can't take place, I think then the entire world has a huge problem. Like I just had a call with a client who said it literally. But yes, of course, online speaking opportunities I have and it will also continue for next year. But I'm also eager to go to see people from the industry back face to face and to interact with them, because of course I really miss that.
Definitely, and certainly easier to influence people face to face than just digitally. But maybe I'll see you there at IBTM World. Fingers crossed, given everything goes well, that we might actually be able to attend some real life events this year in 2021. But thank you Mariska for taking the time this morning, or I think it's the afternoon for you actually, just about. But thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Stuart, and have a lovely afternoon, and hope to see you soon, and I hope it will be sooner than IBTM.